Okay, good morning. Did not get to tape yesterday, so here we are. Lesson 262. Let me perceive no differences today. I'm going to read the second paragraph. We who are one would recognize this day the truth about ourselves. We would come home and rest in unity, for there is peace, and nowhere else can peace be sought and found. So what I get from this is just let me know the oneness and let me practice the oneness today. And to me, that's what all the forgiveness work gifts me, is I end up removing all this crap I've put on someone and finding their innocence and then holding the stuff like, oh, that's my crap. So, yeah, and I recently did some more forgiveness work. And the thing is, I use that Byron Katie process until it's all done because there's so much available and I don't want to miss anything. So I think it can be trippy sometimes when we're really upset by what we're seeing. It's not the first immediate thought that we say, oh, I'm one with that. And I tend to think that way, but I also want to uncover whatever I'm judging about someone, to be able to interact with that judgment. Okay, how in the same moment is it true that it's not them? And that, let me try on, like Byron Katie, Byron Katie always says, try it on like a pair of shoes, before you leave the store, try it on. Make sure it fits. So that's what you do. You find your judgment and then you say, you work through it. Is it true? Yes or no? How do you feel when you believe this judgment? And that's where these feelings come up. And I think it's like, because we are so uncomfortable judging the oneness, it doesn't feel good, and it causes all this disturbance in us to judge the oneness and to think we can get away with separating, judging, and staying separate in our body, in our fence. But it hurts because at the truest truth, we are one. And so after that, you then turn things around as like, I'm not upset with them for that reason. How is that true? And then it starts to break down the whole judgment to begin with. But I'm just grateful because what it does is it restores my relationships, and it restores the oneness, and it restores the innocence of life, and even my own innocence. Yeah, let me perceive no differences today. And I love this. There's a poem by Ani DeFranco, who's a folk singer, but she also wrote poetry. And there's a line in it where it says, basically, that as children we're asked to distinguish, oh, that's a pear and that's an apple. And then we're also put in a position to say, okay, there's two apples and a pear. Which one is different? Which one doesn't belong? We are taught that difference is wrong. So we're taught to look for different things because we're categorizing or whatever. But then the way that can build into things that are out of the, majority or whatever are wrong. They stand out. And so I've never forgot that line. Which one is different? Which one doesn't belong? You taught me different is wrong. And it's like, jeez. So we are undoing all these myths, all these falsities, and coming back to the oneness and of course, we can distinguish different things. It's just underneath, we wouldn't ever, you know, prey on the different, you know. I just had a very like guilty dream last night that I was doing a lot of things wrong. So, you know, those dreams where I feel like I'm releasing some guilt. But the one thing that just came to me is when I was in 5th grade, like the first girl in our class to wear a bra, we picked on her. And I've never felt good about that, like all these years later. But just like, oh, she's doing something different. Oh, and so there's, you know, there's the unity, the oneness, and then there's the way that our mind tries to pick apart difference all day long. So let me perceive no differences today. It's kind of like, let me commit to reminding my mind, I'm one with that. I'm one with that. I connect with that. So, blessing your practice and your day. Here we go. Onward and upward. I'm going to be working with lesson 263. My holy vigilance sees all things as pure.